This post is sponsored by Dentamax, digital sensors and software for your dental practice. Check out Dentamax.com. Email david@Dentamax.com to see what deals are going on currently. A responsible rule of thumb is that one should not take on student loan debt in excess of their expected income resulting from obtaining the intended degree. If one expects to be making $60,000 per year, it would not be financially responsible, according to some experts, to incur greater than $60,000 in student loan debt. With the dental field, the cost of attendance has greatly trounced upon the average expected income as a dentist. Most new graduate dentists will come out of school making salary in the ballpark of $120,000 per year. Salary.com and MoneyUSANews.com both report the average income of a general dentist during their career to be around $150,000. Student loan debts, that's when a student finally walks across the stage with their dental school diploma, have soared to $300,000, seemingly being the floor, with $400,000 to $600,000 seeming to become more of the norm. NYU recently released their new numbers, and they're estimating the 4-year total cost of attending to be upwards of $700,000. So it's officially crossed the $700,000 threshold, at least if you want to go to dental school in New York. And add this up even higher if you had to take out loans to pay for your undergrad, and don't forget about the interest. So with any other career pursuit, it would be considered really irresponsible to take on that kind of student loan debt that was double, even sometimes triple or more what you expect to make on an average year during your career. But for some reason in dentistry, we do tend to look past that fact. Dental school tells us to kind of just bury our heads, focus, keep working hard, and it'll all work out, it'll all be okay. And the government has special loan programs to save us when we're all done, like pay and repay. Just hold on to that and hope that works out. Or maybe the truth of the matter is that the facts are not being looked past, but never even acknowledged to begin with. No one in dental school really informs us, the so-called generation of dentists, of the sobering realities that we face after graduation in the job market, especially the new grads right now. Would it not be the responsibility of the educational facilities to educate us on the fact that if you owe $400,000 but only make $150,000, then you may in fact not be able to make ends meet the way you think after your multi-$1,000 per month high-interest student loan payment? Should they not teach us to question that if we're going to go on an income-based government forgiveness program, because without it some dentists would be below the poverty line after making their giant student loan payments, then maybe, just maybe, we're doing something wrong? I will firmly tell you that tuition at dental schools is not going to go down anytime soon. The only solution is to guarantee that your income goes up. An example that I like to give with ballpark numbers, okay, is let's say the early career. Let's say that you want to not pay off your student loans over the rest of your life. Let's say that you want to really pay these things off, okay? You want to pay them off in 10 years. You want to pay off your student loans in 10 years. So I always like to give this little estimate. Let's say an early career dentist is making $120,000 per year. Estimate after tax, you're left with $80,000. Okay? If you want to actually pay off your student loan debt, if you do the math and you're not stretching it out or doing a government plan, your student loan payment may be in the ballpark of $5,000 per month. So if you take your $120 salary, minus taxes, you're at $80, minus $5,000 per month, you're left with $20,000 per year as your true salary after taxes and paying your student loans. $20,000. If you compare that to an average McDonald's manager who has a salary of $43,000, after tax may come to roughly $32,000, but they have no student loan payment, they're left with $32,000. Okay? Which is more than the $20,000 that the dentist is left with in this example after taxes and student loans. So the McDonald's manager comes out ahead of the new dentist when you factor in those things. Okay, just an example to make you think a little bit. Those are ballpark numbers, but if you sit down and think, it makes you go, huh? It'll make you ask questions. A lifestyle built around student loan management is an albatross that is not manageable long-term on an associate dental salary. Most dentists will take decades. I gave an example of 10 years, but most are going to take decades to pay off their student loans. The exception to this is if you have a working spouse with significant income, or you have little or no debt and you can kind of shift your debt to income ratio around, or if you had a really well-off family that was able to help pay for your dental school. Maybe you don't have a lot of debt because your family paid for it. Again, maybe you have a working spouse and they say, hey, I'm going to help you pay for your school so you won't have so much debt. Okay. Recent articles, like one by Dentistry Today, really show, in my opinion, that they're kind of out of touch with things because they're just pushing people to stay associate dentists as long as possible, which is a good thing if that's what you really want. But if economics are the number one thing, practice ownership is really the option that you should be thinking about, okay? But I'm seeing that they're encouraging more than ever just to ride it out as an associateship and definitely to avoid early practice ownership. Early practice ownership, in my opinion, is the only way that you're going to stand to make higher income that's going to economically justify the student loans in a responsible manner. And what are the broad standing economic and social consequences of saddling healthcare providers with that much student debt? That's a bigger conversation that probably is worth talking about. But if practice ownership is the clear road to a financially responsible career, then why doesn't everyone dive into that path? Why doesn't everyone dive into ownership as soon as possible? I did a little poll and some of the common answers were, some people just don't want to be a practice owner. They just like to be the dentist, provide healthcare, and go home and have a separate life. Other ones, debt, ignorance of business, knowledge, lifestyle, fear also, don't want the hassle or responsibility or management of the 99, 100 things we didn't go to school for. How about zero actual education on practice management? For sure, debt. After buying a practice, many students have got to be pushing $1 million. Slow start with a new practice, and you have your practice loan on top of school loans, and you can't afford to make all your payments. These are things that came off in the poll. The tone of answers is recurring. Debt, fear, complete and utter lack of knowledge on practice management or startup. Lack of understanding that becoming an owner can quite literally 2x to 5x your take-home income as a dentist. Lack of understanding that it doesn't take $500,000 or $1 million to open a practice and that it can be done for under $100,000. But is this lack of knowledge and subsequent fear our fault? Is this lack of knowledge and subsequent fear our responsibility? Is it morally wrong to be charged $350,000 for an education that has not prepared you to fully utilize said degree? What is morality? Morality is defined as the principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong. Is it wrong that after dental school you have no idea how dental insurance works? No idea how to design or build a practice? Is it wrong that after dental school you have no idea how to structure a practice acquisition deal or evaluate if a practice is worth buying? No idea how to implement efficient systems into a dental office or truly understand overhead? I would argue that no, it is not wrong. You were fully informed how much school would cost. You saw the interest rate on the loan. You agreed to pay it back. You knew the average salary for the dentist. This was your choice. But it was also the school's choice to not prepare you. They know they are teaching you the Krebs cycle for the 4th time, when this time could be used to hone your patient communication skills, case acceptance skills, dental insurance knowledge, hiring, firing, staffing skills, team building, and leadership skills. They know you need those skills for a highly successful dental career, and they know they're not teaching them to you. They've heard the complaints. They don't care. They do not care. And to me, there is where there's a gray area of immorality. However, at this point, the source of fault is no longer relevant. Yes, we can say it is dental school's fault, but now it is your responsibility if you desire to change your circumstances. Dental school has come and gone, and now you are on your own. Or maybe you're still in dental school, and are just now realizing that the faculty themselves, though well-intentioned, are simply not capable of properly teaching dental business and practice management, maybe because of the fact that they are insulated from the true realities of the market. They are protected from these realities by the bubble of the school, and they have the option to ignore it. Income-based debt repayment plans will allow you the option to ignore it even longer. But it's still there, and you know it. By and large, if you're hoping that dental school will prepare you to have a successful business career as a dentist, you're going to be disappointed. Because dental school doesn't even teach the basics of this. And they know it. And they do not care. Kaizen, let's all focus on getting a little bit better every day. If you like my content, please invite other dentists and dental students to join the Practice Biopsy group.